Agony time. Oh. That's gonna be miserable. Just so it's obvious, this is the first time I've done this race on hard mode. My oh my, how have I advanced. Abandoned.
Beep beep.
So I'm doing that race. I managed to get the horrible one, the one that's like the hardest in the game.
The hardest?
Yeah.
Would have been home sooner, but traffic is stupid at 7 o'clock apparently.
God damn it, why are you so quiet?
Ah! Should I adjust my audio for my mic?
Nope, you're fixed.
Okay.
But I got into the lead within 5 laps, so...
Ooh.
And it's on hard difficulty. I did not change the difficulty.
Goated. Sorry, I'm late, bud.
Well, you were getting home. And yes, I'm using your trick with this car. It's that Aston Martin with the turbo glitch.
Oh.
The trick.
He's using my method.
Yeah.
Surprise, he remembers! He hasn't forgotten! Just zooming. How low of a time do you think he can achieve?
I'm listening to this new guy who grew up in the same generation as us.
Yeah.
And with the toxic female English teacher, the ADHD medicine, the way women got to see all men as worthless at like a young age and were more or less indoctrinated and primed for feminist propaganda.
Yeah.
The wage gap. Remember the wage gap? Remember when that was considered facts?
Oh yeah, women got paid less.
They do get paid less. They choose to be.
They choose.
And so what ended up happening is now men get paid less than women.
Well, there's no females where I work that's a janitor, because you hardly ever see a female janitor. It's too dirty of a job.
Basically, they balkanized the sexes. They separated us. And it worked.
It worked.
Yeah, now people don't breed.
Oh well.
So now there's going to be no more people. And
Well,
this
there's 8
happened.
billion.
This is happening all across the world. You know what'll happen?
It started in Japan.
They'll get to a number they want that's really controllable, and then they'll change the tune.
Well, the Earth is overpopulated.
It is not.
8 billion people. Well, I know how much it is now.
Yes, and most of them are in India and China.
Let's check out the world's population of 2026.
Everywhere else, it's rather sparse. In fact, most of the human population is centered in a third world, where we send a lot of our money to feed. We basically fed these people to breed, and incest and everything, just to import them into our countries.
Damn.
Yeah. Mostly just, it's a white genocide, basically.
Okay, so
White Christian genocide.
we are at 8.3 billion people globally.
Well, it's a lot higher. It's a bit higher, because the Jews don't do a census. Yeah, we don't know the Jewish population.
We're probably at 9 billion then, just to say. Just to count for the Jews. 700,000 of them. Well, 700 million, my bad. Buddy doing alright?
Take a guess how many abortions we've had since abortions became a thing.
One too many to count.
50 billion.
If all those were around today, we'd have... Oh, yep, Earth is overpopulated. Well, you remember what Stephen Hawking said.
Earth is not overpopulated. That is climate change propaganda. Do you think places where the majority of the human population are, here the Earth is overpopulated? No, they don't hear that. Why? Because that is predominant in Western cultures. When did that become predominant? Can you guess the year? We were talking about it yesterday. 1971. After the boomer generation hit how old? On average, 25. So the boomers were 25 years old, and everyone was afraid, with all the climate stuff and this and that, with the hippy dippies, that we were going to overpopulate the world if all the boomers met replacement rate. So they started a massive propaganda campaign to make sure boomers didn't procreate. So they didn't. The boomers didn't procreate. Now our population is dwindling. Now we're reaching a point where there's more old people than young people. How are colleges going to function without 18-year-olds? We can't import them from other countries because guess what? Other countries are also facing a population issue. China might end up getting caught with their pants down, and they don't have 2 billion people. Turns out a whole bunch of them died during COVID, and then guess what? Population issues. Suddenly, I give it 2-3 years, we're going to find out the human population has been at 5 billion for decades.
Oh, if that's the case, they lied.
And 5 billion is a generous number.
It is.
I am sorry, but that is just straight up climate change, hocus pocus theology. It's not true.
Like global warming?
Global warming is not true. There is no scientific method, no scientific data, nothing that they can show you to prove that anthropogenic climate change is anthropogenic. We have had too little time to study everything. We do not have the technology to know the temperature of the Earth for thousands and thousands of years. We can make best estimates based on what chemicals are in the atmosphere.
Yep.
The hottest year I ever had in West Virginia, the highest temperatures I've ever lived in, was 112 degrees Fahrenheit.
We barely hit 102.
And that was in 2011 during the derecho. Nighttime temperatures were 90 degrees.
Oh, hey, it'll be cooler when it's nighttime's 90 degrees.
Yeah. So when they say hottest temperature on record, they're just moving a goalpost and adding a qualifier. Oh. I give it time and they'll say it's the hottest temperature in June at 9 in the morning. Ever. In record. It's all bullshit. It's all wordplay. It's all toying. I mean, this is the coolest summer we've had for a long time, dude. This is the coolest summer I've had here in West Virginia. At least since I've been paying attention to it.
Yeah.
So,
probably.
I'm going to be real. Last winter, we got snow for the first time I've ever remembered in November here in West Virginia. Snow that stuck to the ground. And we had snow for the entirety of winter.
Yep.
There was snow. We had a white winter.
I miss it so much.
So, as I see it, it's bullshit. We aren't taking into account the activity of the sun. We aren't taking in the account... Remember, when they do the climate change hocus pocus bullshit, who does it affect most? One particular group of people. That's how you know it's bullshit. The Chinese, the Indians, the Africans don't give a fuck. All of the pollution rivers for the Pacific plastic patch that is our fault are coming from rivers in Africa, India, and China. All of the carbon, vast majority of it, Africa, India, China. This happens over and over and over. It is nothing but bullshit for us to shoot ourselves in the foot, get a certain few people super duper rich, while everyone else slowly begins to anguish into poverty. It is to destroy the middle class in the West. That is it. It is to make us all low trust slumlords. So we would be more cohesive to accept socialism and communism. So it's easier to control us. In the Soviet Union, the people who said, oh, the state will provide, they died. But the people who pushed other people out of the way, stealed, cheated, lied, those are the people that survived. And that is why Eastern Europe is full of people who lie, cheat, and steal. It's because the Soviets. That is what the whole world will be. If you can look at something and it has a bourgeoisie versus proletariat theme to it. It has any sort of Marxist or communist themes to it. It's propaganda and it's lies. Feminism, Nazism, socialism, Black Lives Matter. Everything has a socialist theme to it. And shocker, shocker, climate change has a socialist theme to it. It is attacking the people who have the means of production and socializing it for the greater good. And in reality, what's happening is it's just taking money from everybody, putting it in the hands of a middleman who does a dance. He dances for you. He dances for you and throws you a few slops of bread and says, "Look, we're good people. We did a good job." That is all it is. It's bullshit. All of it. You've been propagandized and for decades, dude. I remember when this climate change shit said that the world would end in 2015, then it became 2015, and the world will end in 2020, and it was 2020, and the world will end in 2025.
With the Mayan calendar.
Yeah.
I love how people believe the
I remember watching all of the early 2000s and late 80s, 90s, early 2000s movies about how the world is ending and it's anthropogenic climate change. All the Cataclysm movies. It was all because of climate change.
I remember the movie 2012.
Yeah, and they blamed it on climate change. That was that was the theme of 2012. It was climate change that caused the world to end. It's nothing but propaganda. The biggest piece to know something's propaganda is when someone stands up there in a lab coat, tells you a bunch of things you don't understand, doesn't explain it so you can understand, and then walks off the stage. And then people come out with business suits and say, put your name here, 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 and here. Here's a test. Tell us what you heard. And the moment someone does something unorthodox, suddenly that person is removed from society. Oh, and fun fact, anybody who studies climate change and disproves it, or studies to disprove it, they get their funding cut. They get their funding cut and their degrees. And what is it? It's a word for things you earn. They get their credentials stripped. They get their degrees and their credentials and their titles. They get it all stripped. There was a Nobel Peace Prize recipient who wanted to figure out if there are different species of dogs and cats, or there are different species of humans. And he immediately got his Nobel Prize revoked. They took it from him. He immediately started losing all of his credentials. Yes, he started losing all of his credentials and everything because he wanted to know if there were different species of humans alive on the world today, that we weren't all one same race.
Well, there is a certain tribe out there.
Buddy, listen. Africans are a different type of human. Asians, different type of human.
Oh.
For Christ's sakes, the British, Anglos, and Caucasians are different types of humans. We have proven there are different types of humans across the world that have different types of adaptations. Himalayans have larger lungs and more hemoglobin in their blood so they can breathe at higher altitudes. I mean, we've got proof in front of our face, but the problem is liberal sensibilities. We're too busy looking at humanity like it's one big blank slate. I'm crashing a lot because I've got an itch on my leg.
Itchy. Gotta scratch it.
So, at the end of the day, everything you know is propaganda and lies. It's just lies. Anyone can tell you there is a psychological, physical, physiological, entire speciesal difference between a white man and a black man. Anyone can tell you that. There are too many different variables between these two types of humans to say we're this exact same species.
I mean, black people can jump higher than white.
They can build muscle faster. They don't even have to have the same diet whites have to have to build muscle. They just have to pull some weights a little bit and boom, they're built.
Big Bubba Joe in prison.
Their noses are differently shaped, so the air cools down faster in their body because they're used to higher temperatures.
Because Africa.
Their hair is nappy and tangly because it prevents lice and water ingression, and it also prevents the sun from hitting their scalp, and it doesn't grow long and get parasites. White people have long hair because why? Long straight hair? Because it covers our necks and it keeps us warm. We have large noses so we can warm up the air before it gets into our lungs so we don't get cold just by breathing. We have lighter colored eyes to see things better in bright, snowy climates. We see better in the dark. Because we live up in more northern climates. You know what else makes us different? Every single white person has Neanderthal DNA. No other race has it. That is why you see mud huts in Africa, but cathedrals in Europe. That is why you see Machu Picchu, or whatever the fuck it is, the Mayan Aztec Empire, pyramids. And in Europe, Oxford University. Yeah, those two things existed at the same time. Oxford University in Europe existed when the Aztecs were at their height of civilization.
Damn.
Yeah. So there's a difference between kinds of humans. I'm tired of political correct people denying it, saying it's not true, because they'd rather sound like a good person to a person that would stab them in the back and say they're the super race. I'm tired of nerfing myself so some brown person feels good. Or better.
Gotta make them feel better.
Yeah. Well, we're at 35 minutes.